are still getting settled. Pardon me? People are still getting settled, but it is 10:01, so
Okay.
hopefully we can.
I'll be glad to settle them down and get us started. Yeah, still coming in. We still have 1 minute.
You want it back to
Okay.
the beginning?
No, I'm right here.
Sure.
Good morning.
Good place to start.
Good morning, all. Welcome. My name's Jeff White, and I serve on the board of directors here. I want to thank everybody for being here today, especially visitors. And if you'd like any more information, if you are a visitor and you'd like some more information, or if you're not a visitor and you'd like some more information about the fellowship, check outside in the, there's a table in the fireside room you can check with after the service. And, or you can sign our virtual guest book at UUFA-AIMS.org, except that the website's down. So maybe next week, sorry. But whether you're joining us from home or here in the fellowship hall, we invite you to stay after the service for coffee fellowship and food, where you can introduce yourself and engage in conversation with kindred minds. So yeah, we'd like to see you there. Some announcements. A keychain was found in the lower level restroom about 2 weeks ago. And if it's yours, please send a description to the office to claim it. And now for a very important announcement, we need all of you to take some time in your lives to complete the congregational survey that was issued by the search committee in Friday's weekly email. Got to read the whole thing. Got to read the whole email and get to the survey. And this measures what you value, what you believe, our demographics, and more. So we have to have a minimum response of 60% for this to be valid. And so in our search process, so please see your latest weekly email and complete that survey and get it in by September 15th or right away if possible. So we'll have time. Another one, after the service today, Fellowship Voices will be meeting upstairs. So anybody that wants to, is in that or wants to, that's where you meet. And so on behalf of this caring and nurturing congregation, I welcome each and every one of you to this sacred space. Here we invite you to an experience of transformation, hope, renewal, connections, which may inspire you to understand life in new and interesting ways. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning. I'm Dana Pause, and I am so happy to be here with you today as your Director of Religious Education. Thank you. Mahatma Gandhi said, "Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever." And so, we come together today to celebrate all of the learners and the teachers among us. Today, during our Time for All Ages, we'll do a special community blessing of the bags and backpacks we'll be using to do our work and homework in the coming year. We'll also share some of our thoughts and memories about this time of year, and we'd like to hear some of your school memories as well. Now, you may have noticed some things in your order of service today. First, if you haven't registered your child for the program year yet, that first QR code will take you directly to the registration form. Feel free to fill it out now. I am totally fine with using technology during the service. Just make sure your phone is on worship mode. If you would like to volunteer and you don't have children in the program, that's okay. The second QR code is for you. Feel free to scan that. You can sign up to teach here, but there are a lot of volunteer opportunities outside of that as well. And finally, some of you may have this page attached or detached inside your order of service, a special back-to-school memory. We're going to ask you to fill this out. Don't worry, we're going to give you a little extra time with a special musical interlude during the service, so you can collect your thoughts and write them down. And there's something else on here I need to remember to say. Oh, and then when the offering basket comes by, you can drop those in there. If you need a pen, we have some pens up here. Just raise your hand and we'll bring them to you. If you're joining us on Zoom, feel free to type in your back to school memory in the chat, and we'll share some of your stories as well. Let's see. I'm sure we won't get through all of these today, but I'll look for a place to post them out in the fireside room for future viewing in the next couple of weeks. Don't worry, you won't get graded. You don't even have to put your name on it.
Our chalice lighting this morning are these words from Vanessa Teiting. Like the flame of the chalice, may the flame in our hearts burn, remaining unextinguished. May it ignite our energies, our drive, our resolve to dream, to build, and live into the world that good which exists for now only in our imaginings. I invite you now to rise in body or spirit to join in singing our opening song, We Are. This is 1051 in the green, the teal hymnal. I know not everybody's had a chance to sing along with Sweet Honey in the Rock. This particular song, it has a lot of repeats. So you might want to use the book if you know what a repeat is. Otherwise, I'll be doing trying to give you some cues today. And the last repeat, it goes 4 times. So I'll cue that too. We can do this. We are.
That was great. All right, I hope you all have your bags ready and that you've been working out this summer, because I'm going to ask you to lift your bag when I describe it and hold it up for us to see. Hold on. I have one too. Lift up your bag if you take your work and homework to school. Lift up your bag if it's to take your lunch to school or work. Hold up your bag if you take your laptop or other supplies to school or work. Maybe you brought an overnight bag that goes from one parent's house to another. You might also have a diaper bag or a bag for yarn or books or groceries, because you're the person who takes care of the other people at home. And some people may even have special carriers for their animals that they use to take them from place to place. And I even brought a very special bag that a friend gave me right before I came here to symbolize the blessings for everyone's backpacks that got left at home this morning and for the people watching from home. Have I left out anyone who would like to share what their bag is for? We've got one in the back. Yes. A gift bag. Anybody else?
Collecting things off the sidewalk.
Love it. Collecting things off the sidewalk. Do we have any more bags?
Some people bring medical things in their.
Bags for medical equipment. Yes. One. Your e-reader. Yes. All right, so I'm going to ask you in a somewhat organized fashion to bring your bags to the front and set them here on the blue carpet. And if you need assistance, raise your hand and we'll send someone to you. And you can go back to your seat or stand to the side, whatever you're comfortable doing. And if anyone has the camera and wants to take a picture of all of our bags, that would be great. Did I say a camera or a phone? Because nobody carries a camera anymore. So some of these bags are full already, and some are waiting to be filled. And today we're going to add something to them. But don't worry, it won't make your bag heavier or take up any room. First, let's talk about what blessing means. Personally, I think a blessing is when we use our minds and our hearts to express our desire for good things for a person or an object, and to express our care for the people that we bless. So we're going to fill these bags with blessings by naming the blessings, rolling them up in a ball, and tossing them in. And I'm going to start. First of all, we want you all to have fun while you're learning or at work, to have those wow moments of discovery where you learn something new. So let's take our intention for fun, roll it up in a ball, and toss it into these bags. Let me do one more. Sometimes we get nervous and need to feel the love and support of our community. So let's all look around for some love. Maybe it's in your back pocket, who knows? Let's shape that one into a Frisbee or something, I don't know, be creative. And then let's throw that in the bags. What are some other blessings we would like to send? Kindness is excellent, yes. Anybody else have some other blessings? We're going to take a bunch and bundle them up.
Curiosity.
Curiosity. Thank you, Mary. Yes. Courage. Some days we need that more than others, for sure.
Good health.
Any others? Yes. Openness. Yeah.
Hard work.
Hard work. Is that coffee? Sam says coffee. Yes. Beginnings. Patience. And creativity. All right. What was that? Hopefulness. Yes. Friendship. Yeah. Perseverance. These are wonderful. Yes, ma'am.
Let's think about the children who don't have schools to go to or who are denied the opportunity.
Yeah, listen, blessings for those folks who can't go to school for whatever reason. One more? Asking for and receiving help. All right, so let's take all of those blessings and bundle them up. I think we're going to need to make a pillow. That was a lot of stuff. A big soft pillow of blessings and throw them in our bags. Awesome. Now, your bag may not look any different or feel any different, but the next time you use it, remember this community holds you in love and is sending you on your way with our blessings. Remember that the Spirit of life is with you, and this community is with you wherever you may go. And if you need any more fun or love or friendship or perseverance or anything else, remember you can find it here. So we have some special blessing tags for your bag up here. As you come up, we have the tags ready. We can give you one and you can return to your seats. And just a reminder, we're about to have our special musical interlude, so if you haven't filled out your memories, this would be a great time, and we'll pick those up when the offering basket comes around. Thank you. I was crafty. So we've got we've still got a couple more spots before you guys are, yeah, okay. I know, you're just get ready. Ready.
I'm not by myself, so I'm just gonna stand here.
That's Where will that be?
Must have a code that you can live by, and so become yourself, because the past is just a goodbye. Teach your children well, their father's hell did slowly go by. Feed them on your dreams, the one they fix, the one you know by. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you would cry, so just look at them and sigh. And know they love you. your elders grew wise, and so please help them with yours. They see the truth before they can die. Teach your parents well, their children's hell will slowly go by, and lead them on your dreams, the one they fix, the one you know by. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you would cry, so just look at them and sigh. And know they love you.
Right.
So earlier this week, I revisited a core memory of back to school time. It wasn't my first day of school, but my oldest child's. You see, 30 plus years ago this week, I held in my arms a beautiful baby girl. Like any new mom, I thought she was perfect. She had just the right number of soft, tiny parts and a little halo of dark hair, and she smelled divine, like nothing I had known before. As time passed, she showed herself to be a quiet, contemplative, serious little soul. She grew quickly, and before I knew it, it was her first day of school. And through a series of unusual circumstances, we found ourselves standing at the bus stop at the end of a gravel driveway that happened to be at my parents' house, exactly where I had also caught the bus when I was a child. We were both a little nervous that day as I recorded the moment for posterity. No easy feat with 1990s technology. I stood, camera hefted up on my shoulder, and watched with her as the bus came down the hill, just as it had so many times when I was young. And honestly, only people growing up over the years in a small rural town can appreciate what happened next. That bus came down the hill, and as it slowly came to a stop, brakes squealing, I felt a little jolt in my heart when I realized it was still the same bus driver glaring out the window at us. Mrs. Hill, same bus number, 46. For all I know, it was the exact same bus. I said a little prayer for my child that her days with Mrs. Hill would be better than mine, and that she wasn't about to be punished for the sins of her mother. As I tried to collect myself, my little one quickly hugged me and screwed up all of her courage and walked toward the bus. And then in the middle of the road had a moment of absolute panic when she realized she couldn't find the door. The video of that day replays over and over again in my mind sometimes. The camera pans out, she laughs and then cries when she can't find the door. I laugh at her, the camera slips, and now you only see asphalt and hear us as I reach for her hand and assure her that it's okay. I did the same thing on my first day of riding that bus too. I show her how to walk around the front of the bus to the other side where the door is. In the back of my mind, I can still hear our thick Southern accents that, believe it or not, have faded a little over time. They've softened around the edges as she and I have both aged and traveled and been shaped by our wanderings far, far from that dirt road in that little town. Over the years, I had two more children, and when they were younger, I found myself always looking forward during this time of year as we moved from task to task on the never-ending to-do list of back-to-school time. Do they have all of their supplies? their lunch, their permission forms, their registration packets, who's involved in what extracurricular activities, and who needs a ride where and when. And then there's that calendar I keep in my mind of everything that will be happening in the future. There are days when it feels like the future is where we live, and it makes it hard to be in the present and to stay in the moment. But on good days, I remember to take a deep breath and just be fully present in this space with them. I know it's important because one day, if I do this just right, they'll be gone and living fulfilling adult lives. And so those days have come to me recently. I admit that sometimes I struggle a little with being an empty nester. I struggle to understand who I am now after being the mom, the driver, the keeper of the calendar, and the organizer of all the things. What's next for me? And just like some of you parents and some of you children who may be looking forward or wondering about or even hesitant about the first day of school, I too find myself in a new place and wondering yet again about all of the same things.
Thank you, Dana. Each week we take time in our service to engage the financial generosity of this community. When we pass the baskets today, we'll not only collect your offering, but also your memory. And if you didn't write anything, just even a word or two of a smell or a feeling that the first day of school brings to you. You can toss that in the baskets when we pass it. And if you're visiting us today, please know your presence is gift enough. But we happily hear your school memories. You can toss that in. Today, half of the non-pledge offering will be donated to the Ames Community School District's Lunch Hero program. This program is a resource available to students across the district to help pay down negative balance lunch accounts.
Amy, sorry to interrupt, but when you say non-pledge, does that mean there's a pledge part of the offering?
Yes, we do have pledges. Our members often pledge financial support continuously throughout the years, often like through a bank draft, and many are sustaining pledges.
Okay, so does that like help support our programs at the fellowship, like maybe RE?
Oh, that totally supports the religious education program and many other things that make this a community of transformation.
Okay, and so does that pay for the RE teachers, or do we like need volunteers?
You know, in addition to financial gifts, people share their gift of time regularly at this community, and RE volunteers is one way that people share their talents.
Okay, well, so I've been thinking about all the ways that we need people to contribute and thought maybe, everyone could use a little bit of encouragement. So I wrote a song, and actually my back to school memory is the first song I wrote. It was in 2nd grade about our class pet, Beeper the rabbit, and actually a friend in the fellowship helped me record it so that I could be embarrassed by it years later. So this song is called Commit, and I was realizing that it sounds a little bare with just accordion, so I reached out to my friend David Slade, and the conversation went a little something like this. Will you commit?
Yes, we commit.
To play this song.
Yes, we commit.
If you join me on your guitar, I know we can do no wrong. So that's the chorus, and since this song is about participation, whenever I sing, will you commit? I'd like all you to sing, yes, we commit. So can we try that? Will you commit?
Yes, we commit.
All right, I think we're in good shape. Should we get started here? Welcome to the fellowship, we are so glad you're here. But putting this together takes a lot of volunteers. Someone makes the coffee, someone else helps plan the program. And offering a hand is a good chance to get to know them. I'm glad I got more involved, of that there is no doubt. But too much of a good thing and you get committed out. I'm flattered that they asked me, but I should not have agreed to join that one committee, because now I serve on 3. Will you commit?
Yes, we commit.
To do your bit.
Yes, we commit.
The past few years have been a puzzle, but I know that the pieces fit if you commit.
Yes, we commit.
Your time and treasure. Imagine all the things that we can do together. When someone's in the hospital, there's someone making calls. The art committee hangs the work that brightens up our walls. If God exists, I thank her for my friends and daily bread. But I'm an atheist, so I'll thank the soup lunch volunteers instead. When we sing this little light of mine, that's when our RE teachers shine. We need volunteers to lead craft projects and keep those kids in line.
No, they're fine.
It's fun to have discussions with inquiring young minds. They ask me to write the curriculum. No, that's where I draw the line. Will you commit?
Yes, we commit.
To do your bit?
Yes, we commit.
We've got ourselves a new DRE, and we don't want her to quit. If you commit,
yes, we commit.
Your time and treasure. Imagine all the things that we can do together. A committee for generosity will gladly take your cash. For jobs too big for volunteers that need professional staff. The nominating crew finds leaders to serve on our board. And they in turn will tell us what we can and can't afford. Will you commit?
Yes, we commit.
To join with me?
Yes, we commit.
We're looking for a new minister, and I'm pretty sure those aren't free. If you commit,
yes, we commit.
Your time and treasure. Imagine all the things that we can do together. Imagine all the things that we can do together. Imagine all the things.
Well, that was fantastic. Again, I don't know how I'm going to be able to follow that. Hello, everyone. My name is Riley. I'm not even sure. My job title has changed, so I'm here again. But I've been an RE helper in the past, and this will be my 5th year now with the fellowship, and it's my last year, actually, of school. So when Dana originally talked about having come up here and talking about reflection of what school really means to me, or back to school, I was like, what have I learned through all of these years now, kind of going through school, and now since I'm still a student, what does it mean to me? Besides having an obsession with coffee now after 17 years of being in school, I was like, I don't know, what have I really learned from all of this? That's like, what's the overarching lesson? How have I grown? And so I did come up with one concept, and it's a little bit cheesy, and so I'm gonna have to ask you to stick with me a little bit, but I do think that there is definitely one lesson I have really learned through going through high school, college, middle school, everything now at this point, and it really is about believing in yourself and having that self-confidence. Again, I know it's a little cliche, so stick with me, like, it will get better as the story goes on, but I do wanna kind of tell a story about when I first really had this turning point of how believing in yourself can really be super impactful when it comes to not only going through school, but also just going through life. So back in the 7th grade, so long time ago for Riley, but I loved school. I always loved school. I was super talkative and social. So I didn't really love school for, the most important reason of being there, but I was like, I love to talk to my friends. I love to sit and gossip. And so I love to go and socialize, but I never was considered a super good student. My teachers were always like, she's okay. She doesn't really pay attention very well. And, her grades are like, okay, as a 7th grader, but I never was considered incredibly academically gifted in any way. It just didn't come very naturally to me. That was something where I really had to study. The concepts weren't just always very easy for me to grasp. And so I got in my head at a very early age that I wasn't very smart and that school just wasn't my thing and that I couldn't really be academically very well performing just in general. But when it got to 7th grade, that was where, at least for my school down in Johnston, they split off and then to 2 different curriculums, where for math and science, you either were on the more accelerated track, so then you started off kind of more at a 9th grade level when you were going into the 7th grade, instead of taking just the 7th grade math, 8th grade math. And it was all based on your elementary school performance. I'm still a little bitter about that, because I was like, as a 4th grader, I was determining which classes I could take then in high school. And so I was actually put into the track where it was the normal kind of level of classes, again, 7th grade, 8th grade math. And at that time I was like, well, I actually really like math and science. I remember I really enjoyed these classes, even though I don't think I was necessarily performing grade-wise in that kind of standard the best. I still really enjoyed these classes. I absolutely loved them, and I liked being in school. And so I appealed first to my parents, and I was like, I really want to do the accelerated track. I think, I want to take that step and be on those classes, because I knew I wanted to do more math and science in high school. And without taking this accelerated track, you were kind of limited on the classes that you could actually end up taking them by the time you graduated. And so I ended up then appealing to the school district and being like, hey, I really want to take these classes. You should let me into these levels. And it was something where they were like, fine, we'll let you in, but it's up to you then. And my parents and I had a very long conversation that, again, in 7th grade, I like 11, I was like, I don't get this at all. But they were like, you're going to have to work really hard. Like, do you understand that you're going to have to study a lot more? At the time, I didn't really think about it. I just remember being like, I know I can do this. I really like this. This is something that I enjoy. Even again, if I'm not getting necessarily the best grades, I know that I still love this subject and I will be fine. That was the first time, and I think a really big turning point for me, where I did actually have some self-confidence and really believed in myself. Obviously, it did work out. I am now a chemical engineer, so I did really like math and science, and it worked out totally fine. But that was one of the big moments where I do remember believing in myself was a lot more important than necessarily how my grades had looked at the time, or how my performance was, or even what my parents were saying, because they weren't aware of how I truly felt and what I was really believing I could accomplish. I've used the same principle literally all through my entire life. When it's come to any college exams, I've even found that even if I'm nervous, telling myself that I'm going to fail does not help me at all. At some point, you just need to say, I've done the best that I can. I've studied the most. I believe in myself. I will do this to the best of my capabilities. I found that has helped me pass way more exams, has improved my grades a ton, and has helped me learn the concepts a lot more than really solely just being focused on that specific academic performance of grades. Grades are important, and again, this is going to sound like what every teacher says. Grades are important, but they're really not the most important thing. It is 100% true. Being able to learn and enjoy the subject and understand how you really view yourself when you go through school is super important. Additionally, it goes beyond that. Again, it's one of the biggest lessons I've learned in school, but I found it when now coming to jobs. I've worked now in the industry, and that was definitely something that was hard, is learning to believe in myself that what I've learned then can actually be applied, or that I'm a good candidate for this position, or that I can fill certain roles, or I can be a good friend. Overall, I think the biggest lesson from school, and the one that I'm still trying to apply here in my final year, is I'm like, oh, this lab's really hard. And I'm like, you can do it. You're okay. People can tell you all the time, either you're really gifted, you're super smart, or you're not very gifted, you're not really academically inclined, you can't do that. At the end of the day, none of that matters unless you believe it yourself, and what you believe about yourself is what truly is super important. And so I want everyone who's either going back to work or back to school to really think about how you believe in yourself and what your perception of yourself is, because that really will help drive you to accomplish those goals and to really have a good year. Now, if you would, I have to go to the script. Please remain seated and join in singing the first verse of song number 318, We Would Be One. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Nicole Osey. My pronouns are she and her, and my children are Richard and Clara. Richard is in 6th grade this school year, and Clara is in 2nd. Many of you already know that we homeschool, so back to school looks a bit different for us. For starters, we school more or less year-round, and our new school year started back in June. We usually have a break week every 3 or 4 weeks, and we line those up with our planned summer camps and activities. So other than having fewer people around when we decide to go to the library on a random Tuesday morning, we hardly notice that schools are back in session. So what does this traditional back-to-school season mean to me and to our family? Tomorrow, we begin the 7th week of our school year. We've been going long enough to be starting to settle into our routines, and we're starting to figure out what works and what doesn't work. Some new materials are taking longer to work through than we expected. A few are taking much, much longer, but others are going a lot faster. Overall, we're starting to feel comfortable. That must mean it's time to add complications. With the start of the traditional school year comes the start of after-school activities. I can see my days of quiet evenings at home vanishing away before my eyes. This year, my kids are trying out all new extracurriculars, new places, new activities, new friends, new teachers. This is probably the closest comparison we have to the traditional back-to-school experience. I'm excited that my kids are going to learn new things, things that I can't teach them. I hope they have fun and make new friends. I worry that they're going to have a tough time, or that they'll make a tough time for someone else. I think that the worry, hope, and excitement probably pretty well sums up what it means to be a parent, especially at back-to-school time. Will you now please join us in singing the 2nd verse of Song 318, We Would Be One.
Sorry. Introduction before, I'll give you the introduction.
We
Hello, my name is Mike Todd, and like many of you, I like to stay busy with good things. It's hard to say no. And so I am a teacher at Ames High School, longtime teacher, now a coach, and the leader of a nonprofit called the Community Academy, dedicated to connecting our kids to our community through long-term projects. And we had 9 weeks of summer programming this year, and it was busy, busy, busy. But when the summer programs start to end, right, and certain of my native plants, I like to keep an eye on bottle gentian and goldenrods. They're starting to bloom. I know summer's coming to an end, and I know fall is coming. And I don't mean season summer and season fall. I mean school fall, right? So this is different. The science teacher, in me is like, oh, wait a second, it's not fall technically, but that doesn't matter. But it is the long end, right, of a summer race. I think of it as a race. The pace quickens and quickens and quickens at the end of the summer, and it's coming down to that day of school starting. And just like a race, it turns into a sprint, a dead sprint to try to get to that end. And I'm sure most of you can relate to this, right? Get those last 10 things checked off the to-do list, and make sure that to fit at least one more trip to Peterson Pits Inn with Vivian, and one more night of popcorn and s'mores over the fire. Harvest those cherry tomatoes, get the cantaloupes off the vines, sign all the kids up for fall activities, because if you don't do that now, they'll be full. Get Amelia to band camp. And oh yeah, my wife's birthday is August 19th, which is like the most horrible time of year. But it's bad news. Then, since I'm a teacher, it's preparing everything before school starts, right? So it's on top of all this, like, did you get those last things done? No, I got to go to school and get all that ready. So hours of training and meetings and writing the syllabi and maintenance requests and PO requests, planning all the intro activities, long-term projects, running volleyball camp and practices and teaching new freshmen rotations they've never even seen before in the volleyball court, traveling for matches before school even starts, and on and on and on. And the only way, I have figured this out, the only way we can even fit all this in is because we're traveling so fast, near the speed of light, that time slows down. Thank you, Einstein and special relativity, for making that even possible, because it's just how it works. Then boom, summer's over, right? Boom, it's like the day, it's over. But instead of a sort of plodding deceleration with my hands on my head, take a break. No, keep going. That boom was actually the starting gun for the school year. Like, what? Hold on, I got to run again. Right now? Yes, no break, go. And, it's definitely a hard time. And there's all those things, but there's energy, right? It's that fall energy of, it just fills you, and hundreds of new faces, and saying hi to all the faces from last year in the hallway, and everybody's excited, and there's a fresh start, right? Let's start over. Let's change ourselves this year, and it's fun with kids, because you encourage them. Let's start different. Last year was last year. This year's this year, and you really get to see that over the years. But it's freshman orientation and the first day of school pictures. Our first biology visits out to the Ames High Prairie, and going to ISU football games with Vivian on the weekends, and coaching Amelia the rest of the ninth graders, at their matches that we take them on and on and on and on, and it's just busy. And I think it is kind of scary, all the things we spend time with, right? And how it isn't sustainable. And you kind of look ahead and you're like, winter is coming, I guess, right? And I guess the things we stay busy with will change here and there, and change is what keeps me going. I got an ADHD brain, and so I like to change. I like to stay busy, and I thrive on that change. My own children are getting older, though, right? So, I only have 4 more years of school with Amelia. I'm starting to think like this. I'm sure a lot of you relate to this time. 8 years with Vivian, and it's in my rearview mirror almost. And so things will change again, and I think, gosh, maybe I'll slow down eventually. Maybe. I doubt it. I see you guys. People don't slow down. So that transition to summer to fall is unlike any other, especially for a teacher, but for a lot of us, right? It's the end of one race and the immediate beginning of another, and you just got to keep sprinting. Go.
Thank you to all of our speakers today. Amy's been going through some of our memories here. Oh my goodness.
We won't have time.
We won't have time. She is right about that. You gonna read some with me over there? Sure. All right. Oh, a special back-to-school memory for me. Photos of the kids from each year going off to school on the first day.
One of our young people, I think, wrote, fun, learning, meeting teacher, new pencils, and seeing who's in my class.
My twin sister and I attended Lines in Northeast High School, Lincoln Northeast High School. Hey, I'm figuring this out. 1.5 miles from home, we walked or sometimes roller skated on the street until once we got off the dirt road we lived on. One memory I have is sitting with my best friend, Georgiana, on the fence across the street and petting the horse that came up.
My friend Freckles running along the platform at the railway station to greet me with a hug before we got on the train back to school.
Mom had an assembly line for making lunches for us 5 kids.
Going to football practice and Friday night games.
In kindergarten, another little boy and I decided to walk out and go home. We went to the cloak closet and put on our coats and walked home without our teacher noticing. Our parents were surprised when we showed up. You think?
One of our Zoom, people joining on Zoom today mentioned they had a high school English teacher who assured them that they wouldn't get along because they had been my mother's teacher too. Remind me of the school bus driver.
The first day of junior high in Raleigh, North Carolina, I remember the beautiful, clear blue sky and the morning sun shining. I felt very grown up and was proud of my stylish first day of school outfit with my colorful, oversized, houndstooth checked clothes, knee socks, loafers, crisp white Oxford shirt, and navy blue cardigan sweater. Someone has a way better memory than I do.
An art room smelling of summer deep cleaning with stacks of art supplies newly delivered, ready for a year of creative actions by students. All newness and potential.
Having my daughters help me get my classroom ready each year at the end of summer.
New school clothes for a new beginning and cool weather when September was truly the beginning of autumn temperatures.
Our family summer tradition is a couple of days before school, we get ice cream and go to a park and reflect on the summer and school year to come.
A member posted in Zoom that they remember clearly things they missed on exams. And now we can all learn something. An erratic is a rock left by a glacier. Venturia inequalis is the scientific name for apple scout.
Love it. Waiting for the bus with my brother, my parents, and my dog Rita, and snow on the first day of school in Montana. Wow.
2-a-day football practices in 90-degree weather. A test to start the year.
Lining up on the concrete block lawn edging with all the neighborhood children for a group photo.
Walking 6 blocks to Morton School every weekday. Did I start doing that in 1st grade or kindergarten? My favorite teacher in 3rd grade was Mrs. Hewitt. By then I had learned the difference between short and long vowels, and I was confused about the word bottle. Why wasn't the O pronounced like the O in boat or wrote? She explained that the long O rule applied if there was only one consonant between the vowel and the E. English.
Our schoolhouse, one room, was always refurbished over summer. Floors refinished, new paint, new supplies. It was exciting to start back to school in a fresh, clean space. You want to do a couple more and we'll...
Okay, we have another from Zoom. I always loved the first day of school. I got to see my friends again and ask what they did over the summer.
I remember the first day of school in 3rd grade, I got a new pair of white and blue striped pants and was so thrilled to wear them. At that age, I was becoming more self-conscious and self-aware and felt proud to be becoming individuated from my family.
That might just be a nice one to close
I
on.
think it is.
Wonderful. We'll post these up, as Dana said earlier. Please rise in body or spirit now and join in singing number 354, We Laugh, We Cry. We laugh, we cry, we live, we die, we dance, we sing a song. We need to feel there's something here to which we can belong. We need to feel the freedom.
We extinguish our chalice this morning with these words from T.S. Eliot. What we call a beginning is often the end, and to make an end is to make a beginning. The end is where we start from. We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. Go in peace.